Okay, so when we're sewing together either our circle skirt or the slimmer, more A-line Shenanigan skirt, they're exactly the same, so I'm just going to do the one. And all you're going to do is you're going to make sure that your design is towards the inside. Put your pieces right side together, line them up, and then you're just going to sew down your side seams. And you're going to do that for either one of the skirts. And if you bought the Shenanigan Skort and you want to put the ruffle on, there's lovely tutorial and instructions on how to do that. It's pretty fun to have that ruffle on there if that style of skirt works for you. So I'm just going to put this in my machine, find my pedal, and run this through my serger. Do the same thing on the other side. So one thing that I want to show you is this is the edge that my blade cut off. And I hope you can see here that here is my Sharpie line. It's not doing a very good job focusing, and I'm sorry about that. But that's my Sharpie. And so it's gone. It's cut off both the side seams because of the seam allowances and because of the blade. You are not going to be able to see any pen on there. So when I'm talking about using a Sharpie on the custom fabric to mark this, it's not as scary as it sounds, I promise. All right, so we are going to start putting together one of our skirt styles, and we start with the 3 pieces that go across the back. I like to line them up like this. It's obviously easier to get right sides up when you've got a pattern, but this one we're doing a solid back piece. So we've got our left side, the middle, and the right side lined up. And so now I'll show you how we sew these. So just take the one piece, right sides together, and I do still like to clip these because the fabric is slippery. Run this through your serger or zigzag. Do the same thing on the other side. Now, some people will take and top stitch down these seams. I don't, but you absolutely could if you wanted to. So this is the top of the back piece. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to find the center. Oops. Folding this in half, lining it up. I'm going to put a clip here. Now I'm going to take my flounce, which I've left folded in half, kind of. So I'm also going to find the center, because there is going to be a little bit of stretching when we put this on here. So again, so everything, well, just about everything, right sides together. I'm going to start down at the end. Line these up and sew this together. Now you are going to have to stretch in order to fit, but for about the first 1 to 2 inches, I don't stretch. I just lay them together and feed them through the machine, but you don't have to worry about trying to stretch and get this started at the same time. Just kind of get that in there. Make sure everything's lined up. All right, so I've got a good solid inch or so. Now I'm going to stretch. Pull these out. You end up having to stretch the bottom piece to meet the top piece. So I've actually got this stretched all the way out here. If you're not comfortable doing that, you absolutely could do quarters on this as well. All right, stretch it back out again so that they line up. See here, I've got my 2 markers matching up. So now how do I stretch the rest of it? Well, I do the same thing that I did on the other side. Come over here, line these up. And I'm going to have about 1 inch, 1.5 inches on this side unstretched as well. So I'm going to clip that together. Now I've got this that I need to stretch to accommodate. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Again, if this sounds terrible to you, you are welcome to quarter it and use those points to get your stretch a little bit more lined up. Okay, so now our back is done. Now we have to line up and stitch on our front. So we take our front piece and right sides together always. Line up the top here. Again, if you want to top stitch down these seams, you can. But as I said, I generally do not. There's the one side of our front. Line up over here. And sew down the other side of our front. That's your skirt. I like to hem it at this point because I don't want to have to fight with all of the bulk of hemming it as my very last step. So I'm going to take it over to my cover stitch and hem it. If you don't have a cover stitch, you can hem it with a zigzag on your regular machine. You can hem it with a double needle on the machine. I'm not going to show the hem, so when I'm turning it over, it's approximately, I don't know, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch is about how much of a hem I do on these. Obviously, that is definitely personal preference, and if your skirt is too long, you can take up more of a hem as well. I'm just showing you this again because I'm not really sure it showed up on the first video, about how much I turn over for the hemming with the cover stitch. So about that much, and then that's what the front side looks like with the hem.